Trump wants the Panama Canal back? Here's the real story. Is the U.S. losing control of one of the world's most important waterways? Former President Donald Trump thinks so. He recently made headlines by saying the U.S. should take back the Panama Canal, claiming it's being mismanaged and influenced by China. But what's the real story? Let's break it down. Trump's claim versus Panama's response. Trump argues that the U.S. built the canal, paid for it, and even lost many American lives in the process. He says it was a huge mistake to give it away and now believes the U.S. is being overcharged and losing strategic influence. He's also worried about Chinese companies investing heavily around the canal, hinting at a possible security threat. But here's what Panama says. The canal belongs to us, we manage it, and no foreign power controls it. The Panamanian government reassures the world that they're running the canal independently and fairly, ensuring neutrality for all countries. So, who's right? Let's dive into the history to find out. A brief history of the Panama Canal. The French failure, 1880s. The French were the first to try building the canal in the late 1800s. Led by Ferdinand de Lesseps, they underestimated the difficulty of digging through Panama's tough terrain and thick jungle. Worse, deadly diseases like malaria and yellow fever wiped out thousands of workers. After years of struggle, they gave up and sold their rights to the U.S. The American effort, 1904-1914, under President Theodore Roosevelt, the U.S. took over the project in 1904. They brought better engineering, medical teams to fight disease, and after a decade of hard work, the canal officially opened in 1914, revolutionizing global trade forever. The U.S. controlled and operated it for decades. The Handover, 1977-1999, then came a turning point. In 1977, President Jimmy Carter signed a treaty with Panama's leader, Omar Torrijos, agreeing to transfer full control of the canal to Panama by the end of 1999. Some Americans were against this decision, fearing it would weaken U.S. influence in the region. But the handover went ahead as planned, and Panama has been running the canal ever since. What's happening now? Fast forward to today, and the Panama Canal is facing some tough challenges. Water shortages. Panama relies on freshwater lakes to operate the canal's locks, but due to climate change and recent droughts, water levels have dropped to critical lows. As a result, the Panama Canal Authority, ACP, has had to limit the number of ships passing through each day and even increase toll fees, making it more expensive for global trade. Price hikes and shipping delays. Shipping companies are feeling the squeeze with increased costs, and some are even looking for alternative routes. This is one reason why Trump and others are concerned about economic impacts on U.S. businesses that rely on the canal. Chinese investments. Here's where things get interesting. Chinese companies have been investing heavily in Panama's infrastructure. Hong Kong-based C.K. Hutchison and real estate tycoon Jahan Lee's firms now control logistics hubs and ports near the canal. While Panama says these are normal business deals, some worry that China's growing economic influence could give them leverage over this critical waterway. Trump's concerns. Trump's concerns can be summed up in three key points. Economic impact. Higher tolls mean higher costs for U.S. businesses shipping goods through the canal. Trump argues that the U.S. should have more influence to ensure fair pricing. Strategic security. The canal is a vital route for military and commercial ships. Trump fears that growing Chinese presence in Panama could compromise U.S. strategic interests. The legacy of the canal. Trump believes that giving up the canal was a mistake and that it should return to U.S. control to protect American interests long term. What does Panama say? Panama, however, is pushing back against these claims. President José Raúl Mulino has reassured the world that the canal is under full Panamanian control and operates with neutrality. He stated, "The canal belongs to Panama, and it will stay that way." The Panama Canal Authority also highlighted that they continue to invest in improving the canal's efficiency despite water shortages. What's next? With rising tensions and economic pressures, the future of the Panama Canal is something to watch closely. While the U.S. remains the biggest user of the canal, global trade is evolving, and Panama must balance international investments while maintaining sovereignty. So, should the US try to regain control, or is Panama doing just fine on its own? Don't forget that Panama does not have a standing military. Instead, it relies on the Panama National Police, PNP, and other security forces for internal security and law enforcement. The country's defense and sovereignty are primarily safeguarded through international agreements, with the United States maintaining a strategic interest in the region under the 1977 Torrijos-Carter treaties, ensuring the canal's neutrality and protection in case of threats. Conclusion. What do you think? Is Trump right about the canal being at risk, or should the US respect Panama's independence and focus on collaboration instead? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on global affairs.